Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 510 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin didn't really want to have a life and death battle with these four generals. After feeling their auras, he had come here for a deal, not a battle. However, they were aggressive and wouldn't meet him, resulting in the battle from before. Seeing the vermilion bird appear, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and his right hand loosened. The bow and arrow dissipated into specks of golden light. Although the bow had disappeared, if Wang Lin needed it, he could instantly summon it again. He was not afraid of the four generals launching a sneak attack. Wang Lin clasped his hands at the vermilion bird. This vermilion bird was also an old man and was extremely similar to the first-generation vermilion bird in the Fallen Land. Wang Lin slowly opened his mouth and calmly said, "No need to call me fellow Celestial." Junior Wang Lin greets the first-generation vermilion bird. The vermilion bird wearing red revealed a complicated expression as he looked at Wang Lin and silently pondered. Wang Lin calmly said, "I'm confused about one thing. Senior and the one in the Fallen Land. What relation do you two have? The one in the Fallen Land is my original body. During the Big War, I was the only one of the four generals who left my original body outside. The one you see now is my avatar, but it has been far too long. There is no avatar or original body anymore. You can think of both as me or two different me's. I have almost no control over my original body. I can only communicate with him to know what is happening and what he is thinking, but I hold no control over his thoughts and actions. He is very tired. He wants to return to his hometown, but I want to look for the Celestial Sovereign." The vermilion bird old man shook his head and sighed. The white tiger old man, whose eyes were filled with fear, suddenly said, "Why is the Li Guang bow in your hands? This is my private matter, you don't need to know." Wang Lin coldly looked at the white tiger general and then his gaze landed back on the vermilion bird. The white tiger general's face twitched, but he didn't speak again. "I can ignore the matter at the Fallen Land. Today I can to make a deal with Senior," Wang Lin said calmly. The ancient celestial realm, or the so-called core of the seven-colored celestial sovereign's cave, contains injured disciples of the Seven Tao sect. They are the so-called celestials, the cultivators of the ancient celestial realm. If I gave it my all, what chances do you think I would have of killing everyone here before they could heal and make this ancient celestial realm a dead realm? Wang Lin's words were calm, but they caused the four generals to frown. If it was without the Li Guang bow, the four generals wouldn't believe Wang Lin, but after seeing the bow and arrow, an invisible pressure appeared on their hearts. The Li Guang bow is an extremely powerful weapon from the immortal astral continent. The bow is not easy to use. I don't know where you got that drop of celestial blood, but even if you can use the bow with that blood, it will confuse the celestial energy inside that drop of blood each time you draw it. You're not a celestial, so you can't replenish the force inside that drop of blood. How many shots can you fire? The one to speak wasn't the vermilion bird but the azure dragon. As he looked at Wang Lin, his eyes shined brightly. "I only need 3 arrows to destroy this place. Even though there are countess statues behind you and there is even that strange temple in the deepest part. If I'm not mistaken, that temple is the exit to this cave, which should be completely sealed and no one can open it. There are many strange creatures there, and it is likely the most powerful place in the ancient celestial realm. I can do it, you all understand." Wang Lin's gaze swept past the four general and then looked into the distance. When he first entered the ancient celestial realm, not only did his divine sense notice the four generals, he also faintly sensed the temple in the deepest part of the ancient celestial realm. The aura that temple gave off was very strong. The black tortoise, who hadn't spoke at all, pondered for a while and then said with a hoarse voice, "What deal? I don't care about this whole place being a cave, nor about the plans you all have. I only know that I was born in the inner realm, and the inner realm is having a war with the outer realm. The inner realm lacks the power to confront the outer realm, and even if I have the Li Guang bow, I can't kill all the outer realm cultivators. You are the ancient celestials of the ancient celestial realm. I want you all to leave this place, slaughter your way to the outer realm, and end the war." Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he spoke. The vermilion bird pondered a bit and softly said, "The outer realm also has the ancient celestial realm. There are members of the Seven Tao sect there that follow the celestial imperial concubines, and they aren't as injured. The reason they haven't come out these years is because although the ancient celestial realm is split in two, there is still a deep connection between them. If we were to open the door to leave the ancient celestial realm, they would be able to come out as well. At that time, the war between the inner and outer realms would intensify. It could even destroy this cave." Wang Lin waved his sleeves and coldly said, "They won't be able to come out from the outer realm's ancient celestial realm." With this, all four generals looked toward Wang Lin. The Azure Dragon general quickly said, "Earlier, someone from the lower realm called us and asked for help against the outer realm invasion. I sent out a celestial treasure to be integrated into the realm sealing formation. It should allow the formation to hold for 100 years and buy time for us to finish healing. Although the effect is limited, it will be very difficult for lower realm cultivators to open the formation without someone from the immortal astral continent making a move. I don't know if he did it, but now more than 90 years have passed and 3 years remain. These 3 years are the most important period. Once these 3 years pass, our injuries will completely recover." According to their original plan, even if Wang Lin hadn't offered this deal, they would still leave in 3 years and battle against their fellow sect members from the outer realm. They would then look for the celestial sovereign. However, the lower realm cultivators were mere ants in their eyes. When they left, they wouldn't care about the battle between the inner and outer realms. As for how much life would be lost, they didn't care. As long as they could find the celestial sovereign, as long as the celestial sovereign's cultivation recovered, they could just destroy all life in the cave. Then they would activate the heavenly Tao, and after tens of thousands of years, everything would return to as it was. However, Wang Lin had found them and was threatening to destroy the ancient celestial realm with his power to offer a deal. This made them consider it carefully. 3 years. I can buy 3 years of time for you. No one will come here and disturb your healing." Wang Lin's voice was flat as he spoke. The four generals silently pondered. Wang Lin had promised to destroy the outer realm's ancient celestial realm and promised to protect them for 3 years. However, the more Wang Lin agreed, the more they felt like Wang Lin had another plan in mind. The four were confused about Wang Lin's plans. The vermilion bird looked at Wang Lin and asked, "What do you want out of this deal?" "I want the outer realm extinguished. I want it so that no inner realm cultivator will die once you leave. I want you all to promise me that once you find the 7-colored celestial sovereign, you allow me to take all living things out of this world and give them freedom so they don't have to live in this cave, so they can see the real sky. The final request is that once this over, I want to go to the immortal astral continent. On the immortal astral continent, you will give me the resources I need." Wang Lin patted his forehead with his right hand. A thread of smoke flew out and condensed into a willow leaf in his palm. "If you agree, then send out your divine senses and form a Tao vow. If you break the vow, you will die. If you don't agree, then I'll take out the Li Guang bow and destroy this ancient celestial realm." Wang Lin's words were tough. He wasn't giving the four generals any chance to hesitate. The four silently pondered and looked at each other. They began to hesitate. They were unable to immediately agree to Wang Lin's decision. The third and fourth conditions were extremely difficult. "I'll give you all 1 day's time." Wang Lin turned and walked away. He stopped 10,000 feet away, sat down on the broken earth, and closed his eyes. He ignored their debates. In truth, Wang Lin still had another purpose, and that was his real goal. Aside from resolving the war between the inner and outer realms, the reason he was willing to buy them 3 years of time, the reason why he wanted these 7 Tao sect people to leave, was for them to find the celestial sovereign. Wang Lin had a lot of speculations about this mysterious celestial sovereign, but no evidence. He wasn't sure what relation the 7-colored Daoist had with the celestial sovereign. There was also that old ghost Shon. There was a mystery here, and the mystery pointed at the celestial sovereign. From various clues, there is a lot to be taken from the war between the inner and outer realms. The group around the sovereign and the celestial imperial concubines lived in the outer realm, The group around the Lord of the Sealed Realm lived in the inner realm. The seven-colored Daoist is the head of the outer realm. As for old Ghost John, he is someone from the inner realm. The many wars over the countless years seemed like they were trying to prove something. They are all looking for something. Just finding it requires some extraordinary means, and as a result, these wars continue to happen. If my guess is correct, then what are they searching for is the heavenly Tao. Wang Lin pondered. Perhaps once these people leave, the veil will be lifted. This is all already a mess, so let's make it messier. Perhaps I can achieve my goal in this mess. After one day, Wang Lin left the ancient celestial realm with the vow from the four generals. The ancient celestial realm could only be entered or exited through the rift created by divine retribution. This rift was part of the seal on the ancient celestial realm, and anyone with the bloodline from the immortal astral continent would find it difficult to leave through the rift unless everyone worked together to send one person out like what they did with the Lord of the Sealed Realm. Perhaps the heaven-defying bead was the most important thing here. Before entering the ancient celestial realm, Wang Lin had a lot of speculations, but now, upon leaving, he understood a lot. After stepping out from the rift, Wang Lin looked back at it and watched it slowly close before letting out a sigh. Looking at the space before him, for the first time, this space seemed to be ethereal, as if it didn't exist. Wang Lin could not tell others that the inner and outer realms were only part of a cave. Even if he told people, very few would believe him, and those that did would only go crazy. Looking at this star system, Wang Lin silently pondered. Outside planet Suzaku, the divine retribution clouds had long disappeared. The thousands of cultivators, including Situ Nan and company, were still waiting for Wang Lin's return. When they saw Wang Lin's figure appear, cheers began to echo. The eyes of the thousands of cultivators had feverish gazes as they called Wang Lin's name and called out, "Lord of the Sealed Realm." Listening to their words, Wang Lin silently pondered even more. He vaguely felt confused. Lord of the Sealed Realm. The previous Lord of the Celestial Realm was only a pawn of the Celestial Sovereign. He was not a person from the inner realm, he came from the immortal astral continent, he had the bloodline of a Celestial. He didn't come to the inner realm to help but to set up plan all for the sake of the Celestial Sovereign. He was an inflexible person. Perhaps, over the years, he felt mercy toward the people here and all those things happened. However, at the end of the day, he didn't belong here, he was an outsider. The waves of cheers felt like they were really far from Wang Lin. After understanding everything, Wang Lin felt confused about the title of Lord of the Sealed Realm. His silent pondering was gradually noticed by the thousands of cultivators. Their cries slowly dissipated and their gazes locked onto Wang Lin as he walked over. Looking at the faces before him, his heart was filled with bitterness. He wanted to tell them, all of us are just living in a cave. The sky we see is not the real sky, the earth we see is not the real earth. Our battles against the outer realm were only a game to others. Even the spells and Tao we cultivate are all false. Everything is false, nothing is real. The only thing that was real was the blood, the pain, and all the corpses piled up over the countless years. But how could he say it? There was no way for him to tell these fanatical fellow cultivators the cruel truth. At this moment, Wang Lin suddenly thought of Daoist scattered spirit from the 7 million worlds. He suddenly felt a connection with Daoist scattered spirit as their experiences were very similar. However, Daoist scattered spirit was more fortunate than Wang Lin because he believed he had come to the real world and left the fake world. Wang Lin's silence and confusion were noticed by Situ Nan, which made him confused. He didn't understand what Wang Lin had encountered inside the rift. He was so high-spirited when he entered, but now he was depressed. Wang Lin silently walked forward and arrived next to Situ Nan. His confused eyes were also tired, and he softly said, "Situ, do you have wine? I want to get drunk again. One last time." "I do." Situ Nan didn't ask why and instead nodded. "If you want to become drunk, then I'll accompany you." On a no-name mountain on planet Suzaku, Wang Lin and Situ Nan sat down. They watched the sky darken and silently drank wine. No one came to disturb the two of them. The thousands of cultivators sat down on the planet and cultivated. They were waiting for Wang Lin to descend from the mountain. They were waiting for Wang Lin to take them to all heaven, to save all heaven and protect the inner realm. Situ, why do people live? As Wang Lin sipped wine, the confusion in his eyes became even stronger. In order to breath. Situ silently pondered and put down the wine jug in his hand. He looked at Wang Lin's appearance and frowned. He then asked, "What was that rift?" Wang Lin shook his head and revealed a bitter smile. He picked up the wine and drank another big gulp. "Do you remember how we got drunk many years ago?" Wang Lin looked at Situ Nan and recalled the past. "That time, I got drunk when I was in confusion. I didn't want to cultivate, I didn't know why I cultivated. Cultivation brought no happiness. There was only tiredness and endless life and death crises. I had killed a lot of people, I have killed a lot." Wang Lin began to laugh as he drank. "That time, I told you I didn't understand why people cultivated. For longevity? But what's the point of living a long time? All you get is to watch people around you grow old, watch lovers die, watch loved ones scatter, watch friends close their eyes. In the end, the only thing that remains is an indifferent heart. With a tired body, even if such a life lasts for a long time, so what? This is longevity. Situ, you brought me into the cultivator world. Tell me, is this longevity?" Wang Lin drank all the wine and threw the wine jug to the side. Cultivators don't need to cut off their emotions. When we were on planet Suzaku and you just started cultivating, you were reluctant to let your parents go, reluctant to cut off your earthly attachments. You didn't want to cut them off. This was how I answered you. Since you can't cut it and don't want to cut it, you will naturally feel pain. If you died, then it wouldn't have mattered, but you didn't die. You cultivated for more than 2,000 years and reached this cultivation level. This is why you're confused, why you ask me what longevity is. Longevity, there is no longevity in this life. The so-called longevity is to allow yourself to live longer, allow yourself to become stronger, allow yourself to become free so one can order you around. We are all damn afraid of death, we don't want to die, so we pursue longevity. This old man doesn't believe you don't understand this." Situ Nan drank an entire jug of wine and threw it to the side before he shouted at Wang Lin, "Look at yourself, what did you see inside that rift? Tell this old man." "Peak? I didn't reach the peak. Even if I reached the peak, so what? I understand, but I'm not the same as you. I never wanted to cultivate. When I was young, I did it for my parents so they wouldn't be disappointed in me. I clenched my teeth and went to the Han Yu sect. But the result? Fate made a fool out of us. I cultivated for my parents, but that eventually led to their deaths. After that, I cultivated for revenge. I became a demon and killed the entire Tang family. Blood flowed like a river. After getting my revenge, I was confused. I watched Da Neo grow up and watched his parents die. I watched his entire life. I didn't know what I should do, I didn't know where my path was. It wasn't until Wan died that I began to cultivate in order to revive her. I wanted to become stronger and survive. I wasn't willing to die before Wan woke up. I wanted to take her back from fate. Then I became the Lord of the Sealed Realm. I became famous through the battle between the inner realm and the outer realm. I didn't want any of this, it's not what I want. I didn't want to become the Lord of the Sealed Realm, I still don't." Wang Lin looked at Situ and picked up a wine jug. He drank half of the jug and allowed the wine to flow from the corner of his mouth. "You?" Situ Nan looked at Wang Lin and saw the confusion in his eyes. He was unable to say a word. He let out a sigh and began to drink in anger. "Since you aren't willing to tell this old man what you saw inside that rift, then this old man won't ask, okay?" The two of them became silent and both continued to drink wine until a glimpse of light appeared in the horizon, signaling the sunrise. Wang Lin softly said, "That rift led to the ancient celestial realm." Situ Nan was startled, then he suddenly stood up and looked up at the sky. It was as if his gaze was going to pierce the sky and see the rift that had appeared before. Ancient Celestial Realm. That place is actually the legendary Ancient Celestial Realm. There are real celestials there. Did you see a celestial? Situ Nan gasped and shock filled his eyes. I saw them, and I killed a celestial. Wang Lin revealed a bitter expression and took a gulp of wine. Situ Nan was startled and stared at Wang Lin. After a long time, he blinked and smiled bitterly. Then what? With your personality, you wouldn't just leave after killing them. Could it be that you searched this celestial's memory? Wang Lin silently pondered and his eyes revealed a complicated gaze. He drank all the wine in the jug in his hand and threw it to the side before looking up at Situ Nan. I searched the memory of the celestial and found out a secret about the existence of the inner and outer realms. Situ, if I told you that the inner and outer realms are both fake, that they are just an illusion, would you believe it? If I told you that you and me, all the fellow cultivators we know, the world we grew up in are just in a cave, would you believe it? If I said that the Tao we cultivate are all designated by others, would you believe it? If I said that the world we live in is just a cave, the cave of an ancient celestial sovereign, or a realm he opened to collect Joss flames, would you believe it? What are you talking about? Situ Nan subconsciously let go of the wine jug in his hand and it fell to the ground. Wang Lin smiled bitterly and looked at the startled Situ Nan. He then picked up a wine jug from the ground and took a big sip. This is what I learned from the memory of that celestial. You know the Lord of the Sealed Realm? Not me but the previous one. He came from the ancient celestial realm, he doesn't belong here. And those celestial imperial concubines I met in the ancient star system and the mysterious seven-colored Daoist. These people all came from the so-called immortal astral continent. That continent is tens of thousands times bigger than the inner and outer realms combined. That is their hometown. We are merely in a cave that belongs to the sect master of the Seven Tao sect, the seven-colored celestial sovereign. The sky we see is the ceiling of the cave. The earth we see is the ground of the cave. The so-called inner and outer realms are merely the inner and outer parts of this cave. Would you believe all of this? Then what if I told you that even the Tao we cultivate, the heavenly Tao, is something the seven-colored celestial sovereign stole and raised here? It is because of the heavenly Tao he is raising that life appeared, that you and I came to be. Would you believe all this? If there was no heavenly Tao, if the celestial sovereign hadn't stolen it, then no life would have appeared in this cave. It is just a cave. When you know all of this, would you become confused? Would you not wonder what we live for? Why do we exist and what do we exist for? And then there is the divine retribution. The heavenly Tao is being raised by the celestial sovereign, and all living things here exist because of the heavenly Tao. He created divine retribution so that it could kill anyone who tried to change the plans of the heavenly Tao. What is a heaven-defying cultivator? This is a heaven-defying cultivator. Like how a mortal farmer plans everything out and then plants their crops. There will always be things that don't grow to your intent, so you change it. However, over time, tenacious weeds pop up among these crops. They grow too fast and they can't be changed. They will try to destroy the plans. They are the heaven-defying cultivators. The role of the divine retribution is to kill the weeds that arbitrarily appeared. I am one of those weeds. Except the divine retribution can't destroy me and was destroyed by me. I destroyed the divine retribution and retrieved my own fate. I also learned the secret of this world. Since you asked, I will tell you all of this, but will you believe it? Situ Nan pondered, in a daze. After a long time, he sat down and continued to drink wine, but he didn't say a word. There was struggle in his eyes. He didn't believe it but also believed it. If it was anyone else, even if it was his teacher, Qing Lin, he wouldn't believe it. It was simply unthinkable and no one would choose to believe it. However, the person who said it was Wang Lin, his brother. He understood Wang Lin. He basically watched Wang Lin grow up. How could he not believe Wang Lin? Everything is just a cave. Then what is the battle between the inner and outer realms? Situ Nan subconsciously raised his head and looked at the sky. Fear slowly appeared in his eyes. He seldom felt fear, but when he heard Wang Lin's terrifying words, Fear appeared in his mind. He feared that if this was all true, then what did he count as? Was his happiness true happiness? He was just a puppet doing a serious performance set up by the heavens, being observed and played with by a mysterious existence. It was like when he looked at the ants on the earth, watching the ants struggle and survive. Wang Lin silently pondered for a moment and softly said, I have my guesses about the war between the inner and outer realms, but I don't fully understand it. However, I have a plan, and 3 years from now, I'll know everything about this war. Cave, Situ Nan revealed a bitter smile and lowered his head. He looked at the wine jug in his hand and began to murmur. We watch the sky and want to know what is behind the sky. When we have a high enough cultivation level to go past the sky and enter space, we think space is the end, but we don't expect space to be inside a cave. Wang Lin, if what you say is true, what do you want to do? I think you should already have an answer. Wang Lin had been drinking wine, but he didn't feel drunk. The wine was like life and turned spicy in his mouth. More than 2,000 years of his past continued to replay in his mind. My cultivation had 3 stages. The first stage was to help others. The second stage was confusion and irritation. I yearned a mortal life. I originally thought I would spend the rest of my life in the second stage until I had a high enough cultivation level to awaken Wan. Then we would pass the remaining years together and close our eyes together. Right now, the third stage has appeared. Wang Lin put down the wine jug and stood up, allowing the mountain wind to blow at his white hair. As he looked at the sky, the confusion in his eyes was replaced with a determined and unyielding gaze. I have cultivated for my entire life, but I never recognized it in my heart. But today I, Wang Lin, will enter the third stage of my cultivation on planet Suzaku that gave birth to me. I want to cultivate. Situ, back then I grew tired of cultivation, but after today, that thought will never exist again in my heart. I want to cultivate, I want to become stronger, I want to leave this world, I want to see if the people of the immortal astral continent really have 3 heads and 6 arms. Even if I die and turn to dust, so what? Wang Lin waved his right hand. He then leaned back and drank half a jug of wine. Wang Lin wiped the corner of his mouth and laughed. I, Wang Lin, have lacked one word in my life. This word is responsibility. I lack responsibility, I can't support the sky myself. The title of Lord of the Sealed Realm belongs to me, but it was given to me by others because I did a few things and because the inner realm needs a Lord of the Sealed Realm. But I'm really not qualified to be called Lord of the Sealed Realm. I was originally tired of cultivation, I had been cultivating for others, so how could I bear the honor of Lord of the Sealed Realm? The me from before couldn't carry the responsibility at all. Before, I was even childish enough to really think I was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. I fought with my life against the outer realm for my hometown, for the inner realm. I thought doing this meant I was the Lord of the Sealed Realm. It never occurred to me that many people were doing the same. Almost all the inner realm cultivator were doing this. I merely had a higher cultivation level, so I managed to reach today. However, what do I count as? Why should I hold the respect of the inner realm? What we should respect are the fellow cultivators that died. Those that bled for the inner realm and died. I had never thought about those things, but today, I thought about them. I understand the responsibility of this title. It is not just to resist the invasion of the outer realm but to take the cultivators here out of this world, out of this cave. To have the determination to destroy any enemy that gets in the way. Before, I didn't have this determination and responsibility, but after today, I will. This perhaps is my Tao, my final destination. Wang Lin drank the rest of the wine and threw the wine jug off the mountain. It flew off in an arc and disappeared from Wang Lin's eyes. At this moment, the sky dims. The sun sets in the west and rises in the east. Turn around to see Mount Nan, the sound of the scattering birds echoing. The world of mortals cut off by the clouds. I'm going to kill the celestial sovereign. If I kill him, I can get our life back. Kill him and the clouds will open. But before that, Situ, I'm going to guard the border for 3 years. Wang Lin waved his sleeves and stepped toward the sky. He moved like a ray of light and appeared in the sky. Wang Lin looked down on the earth, and the first thing he saw was his statue that pierced the sky. The statue of him held up the axe and glared at the sky. For the first time, Wang Lin felt the unspeakable momentum from the statue. This momentum would never look back, and anything that tried to block it would be blown away. It was a shocking momentum that no one could stop. This momentum was the Lord of the Sealed Realm that understood commitment and responsibility. One who had questioned themselves and understood the might of the Lord of the Sealed Realm. If the heavens stood in the way, the heavens could break. If the earth stood in the way, the earth could collapse. Any enemy would be destroyed. For the first time, Wang Lin saw the familiar aura he saw from Daoist's scattered spirit on the statue. The spirit and determination Daoist's scattered spirit held. With one step, Wang Lin arrived on top of his own statue. He stood there, facing the wind, facing the red sunset as he looked at the world. Fellow cultivators on planet Suzaku. Are you all willing to follow me to all heaven and battle the outer realm cultivators? Wang Lin's mighty voice turned into a monstrous wave that echoed across planet Suzaku, and the cultivators that were waiting for Wang Lin all opened their eyes. Their bright eyes revealed the same determination. We are willing to follow. Roars came from countless locations on the planet, forming a powerful shockwave. At the same time, rays of light flew up from the earth toward Wang Lin's statue. Those rays of light contained cultivators filled with killing intent. They had been humiliated for so many years. They had lost countless friends, and those that survived were willing to give it their all. They only needed one voice and they would be willing to fight with everything, even if it meant giving up their lives. Warriors will be born when a kingdom was about to perish. This is a saying from old times, and the inner realm was experiencing this. This video will end here.